Hey guys, I have some breaking news to share with you guys because Redfin is reporting today that new listings are surging, the biggest year-over-year increase in about 3 years. On top of that, rates increased once again to above 7% as of Thursday, which is today at the time of filming this video. I appreciate you guys watching today's video. I have a lot to share. Let's go ahead and dive right in. This is an article just posted by Redfin on March 14th, which is today at the time of filming this video. It says new listings rose 13% from a year earlier, their biggest increase in nearly 3 years, but home prices and rates remain elevated. Something to keep in mind here when talking about new listings, this is a leading indication of our US housing market, whereas home sold prices is a lagging indication. So if we continue to see a huge increase of new listings in which supply starts outpacing demand, that will cause home prices to fall. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. It potentially could happen, but they're not kind of comparing apples to apples here. So a huge increase in new listings. We won't see the true effects regarding that in home sold prices for another couple of months here. The median U.S. housing payment, this is the average housing payment in which would-be home buyers would be paying for the houses based on the median asking price on a national level. And on top of that, looking at average rates as of last week, I believe, was around $2,700 per month for the 4 weeks ended March 10th. That's only $30 shy of the all-time highs we saw back in October last year. Back then, the average 30-year fix was around 8%. Now the average rate is only around 7%. So the reason why we're very close to all-time record highs for would-be housing or for average housing payments is really due to the fact that home prices have increased since then. According to Redfin, this increase is due to a combination of still high rates and rising prices. While rates came down slightly this past week after increasing for 4 consecutive weeks, they're still near 7%, and sales prices are up by 5% year over year nationwide. On a local level as well, by the way, they track 50 of the most populous US metros. And I've been reporting to you guys each and every week for, years now, maybe a couple of years, 3 years. When was COVID? COVID was in 2020. So I've been doing this for 4 years now, reporting timely housing market updates. But over the past, I would say 2 years or so, I've been reporting to you guys how certain markets such as Austin, Texas, San Antonio, Houston, Texas were down on a year-over-year basis. Now, they're reporting that not a single one of these 50 most populous metros is down compared to 12 months ago. Huge changes. The first time that happened was back in July of 2022. I also want to talk about rates because on Thursday, which is today again, there's a lot of economic data that got released. And more importantly, there was a report regarding producer price indexes. This is the inflation numbers or prices that producers pay, which is a key measure that the Fed looks at in order to gauge which direction inflation is headed. Just a couple of days ago, it was announced the consumer price index or the CPI, but today was announced the PPI. So let's have a look at core PPI, a key measure the Fed looks at. Core PPI, by the way, strips out volatile energy and gas prices. So that increased by 0.3%. The forecast was a gain of 0.2%. So it came in hotter than expected. On top of that, looking at core PPI on a year-over-year basis, that rose by 2%. The forecast was at 1.9%. Also coming in hotter than expected. That was at the same compared to January though. So because of this hotter than expected inflation report, rates increased today. Let me just refresh this, make sure it hasn't changed. Sometimes it does. So according to the Mortgage News Daily, the daily rate for people with great credit, putting at least 25% down to buy a house is at 7.02%. An increase of about 8 basis points compared to yesterday, which was on Wednesday. So looking at rates compared to 12 months ago, the average rate was at 6.75%. So now rates have increased by about 27 basis points over the past 12 months. And like I mentioned, looking at this graph above here, the average rate as of mid-October was at 8%. Now it's only at 7%. So despite the fact that rates overall have decreased by 1 percentage point, we're only down by about $30 per month when looking at average monthly housing payments compared to mid-October last year. And that's due to the rise in home prices. On top of that, it says high housing costs are still pricing out some would-be home buyers, go figure, with pending sales down 6% from a year earlier. This is exactly what you want to see if you guys want to see home prices decrease. We want to see new listings increase, but then pendings decrease. One would imply that if the housing market was very, very strong, if new listings were surging, in other words, more people are listing their house for sale, during a strong housing market, we would see more pending home sales because we see more inventory. But we're seeing just the opposite. New listings increasing, supply rising, yet demand decreasing, a lack of contracts being signed between buyers and sellers, down by 6%. Let's have a look at Redfin's data center to have a look at the changes over the past several years. I really wish they would provide 2019's numbers, but the data center only goes back to 2021. It lists this housing data right here. So new listings increased by 13% year over year. This is a very big change because last year, which is the blue line above here or below here, and also here's 2022, and there's 2021 at the top. In any case, it's up by 13% from 2023 this time. Look at what happened last year though. Last year's time, new listings decreased by 21%. Now we're up by 13%. Very big changes. On top of that, over the past several weeks now, about a month and a half, new listings have been rising at a faster clip compared to last year. The trajectory we're seeing right now is more or less in line with what we saw in 2022 so far. Let's also discuss pending sales because, again, pending sales are down on a year-over-year basis, down by 5.8%. Increasing slightly here, but still well below 2022 and 2021. Let's also have a look at active listings as well. Active listings were barely up. Wow, look at that. Okay, I haven't looked at this yet. So active listings were barely up last week. That was at a gain of about 2%. Now it's up by about 2.9%. Again, small numbers here, but much different compared to the past several years. At this time last year, we were up by 21.78%, whereas in 2022, we were down by 15%. So the amount of houses for sale, this is housing inventory on a national level, is at least a 3-year high during this time frame. This is all really good news so far regarding our housing market as a whole. If you guys are looking to buy a house, because we want to see more options. And also if we have a lot more options, that would cause home prices to be negatively impacted as well. Anyways, that's a step in the right direction. So let's see how this plays out during the spring home buying season. Let's get back to Redfin's report. They also talk about their Redfin Home Buyer Demand Index, which is right here. This is a measure of requests for home tours and other home buying services from Redfin agents. That did increase by 5% from a month ago, but still down by 10% on a year-over-year basis. I won't go over these other metrics here regarding application numbers, Google searches, and real estate touring activity because I just made a video yesterday regarding that. So if you guys missed that, take a look at that. That's some early indications of home buying demand. Okay, let's talk about home prices. Again, up by 5.1%. It's at $371,750. Asking prices rose by 4.9%. And again, look at this. Monthly mortgage payments at the current rate. This is the current rate as of 1 week ago from Freddie Mac at 6.88%. Just $30 shy. So in other words, $30 less per month shy of the record highs that was set back in last October. Also, pending sales decreased by 6%, whereas new listings rose by 13%, the biggest increase since June of 2021. Active listings, also, that was the biggest increase since May of last year. Very big changes here. In regards to the month supply, we're at 3.5 months According to Redfin, a balanced housing market is in the range of 4 to 5 months. I talk about this quite a bit on the channel because, in my personal opinion, whether we have a balanced real estate market or a buyer's market or a seller's market really depends on where we came from. So back in 2022, the early parts of 2022, the month supply was at very low levels. It increased big time. I think it doubled in less than 6 months. That's why home prices decreased, even though we were not even at a 4 to 5 month housing supply. So in any case, at 3.5 months, we'll have to see how this plays out, because if we continue to see this trend where new listings rise and pending sales decrease, that will cause active listings to rise further, which of course will impact the month supply as well. Redfin also shared this chart, which is average monthly housing payments. As you can see, right now we're right around $2,700 per month. The all-time record highs was set back right here, October of last year. On top of that, at $2,700 per month to buy an average price home today, based on the weekly rate 1 week ago at 6.9%. This is much higher compared to 2021 and 2022. In fact, it's about $700 more per month to buy a median price home today compared to 2021. And it's also much higher compared to 2021. So much so, in fact, that it's about $1,000 more per month to buy an average price home today compared to the same time frame in 2021. Can you say a lack of housing affordability, to say the least? In regards to the 50 most populous metros, not a single metro again is down regarding home prices on a year-over-year basis. Every single metro is up. In fact, the top 5 metros, all of them are up by nearly 14% or higher. San Jose, California, leading the nation at 16.3%. Where did Anaheim, California go? Anaheim, California was in the top spot for quite some time. Anyway, San Jose, California, I believe the median asking price there is around $1.2 million. I'll have a look at that. But a very big increase, especially when you account for the fact how high home prices are there. After that, we have New York, New Jersey, Boston, West Palm Beach, Florida, and Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Okay, I was way off actually, because according to Redfin's data center here, San Jose, California, the median sold price nearly $1.5 million. Absolutely crazy. And home prices going straight up by 16% on a year-over-year basis. It's still below levels we saw in 2022 when we were at about 1.55 million, but at 1.48 million, much higher compared to last year at only $1.3 million. One of the main reasons why prices are up so much is due to the imbalance between demand and supply. So here's active listings or housing supply down by nearly 11% on a year-over-year basis. And also it's much lower compared to the past several years as well. So active listings or supply is at very low levels, which is supporting the huge growth rate in home sold prices in San Jose, California. Going back to the report here, the month supply again is at 3.5 months. This is at least a 3-year high during this time frame. In 2022, the red line below here, the month supply was only at 2 months. Now it's nearly double that at 3.5 months. Redfin is also reporting that only 25% of the houses that sold over the past 4 weeks sold above the seller's final list price. This means, of course, that 75% of those sold at or below the seller's asking price. This is also well below 2021 and 2022, but slightly higher from last year. Yet another metric that has reached at least a 3-year high was the share of price reductions. The share of price drops, according to Redfin, is at 5.6%, much higher from the past several years, higher than last year as well, when the share was around 4.1%. Something I found to be really interesting as well, which is kind of eye-opening. This is really telling me that asking prices on a national level overall are a little bit too high. because price drops are surging and have been surging all year. Whereas in 2021 and 2022, price drops increase in January, then decrease in February, just like it did in 2023. Whereas this year, price drops increasing more or less each and every week. Lastly, let's have a look at the average sale price to final list price ratio. That's at 98.6%. This means for the houses that did sell over the past 1 month, they sold for 1.4 percentage points less than the seller's asking price. This is higher from 12 months ago, but much lower from the past several years. So for example, in 2022, houses were selling for about 1% over the seller's final list price. Now they're selling for about 1.4 percentage points below their asking price. That's today's video. Thank you so much for watching today's video. I appreciate you. Like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video.